Holla ballers! And a bro fist to you all on this fine Thursday. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Preach. Feeling good today, feeling good. I did the Pandas Are Coming video. It's going to upload immediately after this is finished. It just about finished rendering as it was in time for the show. That is a solid, well-timed working day when everything renders just nicely so I can start the show, have 5 minutes to myself while it's uploading, and then I'm raiding! You armory stalkers! Oh, you guys follow my every move. I can't fart in a jacuzzi without you guys going, Preach, did you just fart in that jacuzzi? That bubble looked very suspicious. Yes, my warrior has disappeared from Sylvanas. He is gone, but a poof has disappeared like talcum powder on the a-hole. He is poofed away, and he is now on Twisting Nether with the guild method. I got the okay yesterday to move my warrior over. Everything looks shiny good with my performance in Mr. Pandaria, I assume. Move your warrior over, Preacher. Come into Dragon Soul. Let's get that warrior some gear to help you level. That feels good. So my warrior is now an orc, of course. He is now orcish, and he's known as Preach X. Preach X. Preach with an X after it. The reason I went for such a cliche and obnoxious name is one of the officers, Mr. Flair, the priest officer in Method, really detests any sort of accent above letters. He detests having to use his keyboard in such a manner. He really, really hates it. And he complained endlessly with my warlock complaint was P-R-E with an accent over it. He hated it. He hated it and hated it. So my warrior is now called Preach X. It's quite important. I could have named him anything. I could have named him Arsehole Butt Whistle. Perhaps that's too many letters. A-hole Butt Whistle. I could have named him anything I wanted to, but it's relatively important that I keep the names Preach. Yeah, for the sake of the background stuff that I do. If it was a case of just being invited to raids, I don't care what he's called. I really don't. But for the sake of what I do and him being my main character, it made sense that he had the name Preach in there somewhere. So my warrior is now called Preach X. He's pretty cool. What have I been doing today before we get into some gaming news? Well, having moved my warrior over to Twisting Nether, see the way it all links together? Look at that. It's as if I planned this shit. I really don't. The worst thing about transferring is all your add-ons reset. And you have to reset up your UI and you have to get all your key bindings again. And there's always something you miss, some obnoxious spell that you barely ever use. And you just forget what the key binding was for it until you're in that situation and your hand's muscle memory goes, I need to press this now. And then you realised, hell, I haven't bound that. So I decided that and I also realised I'd let my warrior kind of fall apart. He's like in really bad shape. His gear level is really, really low. Especially his tank gear is still blues. And I love my warrior. I looked at my warrior and I was like, oh my god, what have you done? I have beaten that thing to death. So I decided to do some 5-mans, which I haven't done for a long time on live. I haven't done a lot of 5-mans. And do some looking for raid. Oh, what a mistake that was! Hang me! Sometimes it's very easy for me to forget how hard some of you guys have it. I mean, it's very easy for me to say, you know, back in Vanilla and TBC, I served my time going through these hardships of being in, you know, guilds with people who are really, really, really bad and working my way up. But I sometimes forget exactly how hard it is when you're a solo guy in a noob's world. And I'm not talking about people who, you know, the worst is I want everybody to come to my channel and become a better player. That's what I want. That is my dream. I want everybody who comes to me in some form or another to walk away a better, more confident player. That's why in the future I do want to set something up in the US, which are gamer summer camps. Summer camps are always put off by people who are very into gaming. They'd rather stay at home and play some fucking PC or play some Xbox, right? That's what they want to do. It's what I wanted to do. My dad was like, hey, let's go play football in the park. I was like, dude, Mortal Kombat just came out. Go fuck yourself, right? So what I want to do is in 10 years time build this up until I can eventually open summer camps in probably the US makes sense, which are gamer summer camps where we just have LANs, we get people out for the summer and they can all come together with other gamers and we could just have a fucking ball of time, right? And we're away from our parents for like, I wish I was away from my parents playing games for a few weeks every summer. That would have been fucking awesome. I'm going to make that happen for you guys. That's the long-term plan. So I forget exactly how hard it can be in the early days. So I was essentially a solo man, because obviously nobody in Method wants to do a 5-man. They certainly don't want to do looking for raid. And I needed to get some gear. And it was the first time in a while I've actually wanted to get gear. It's very different when I'm filming something for you guys. If I'm filming like a guide, I don't care what's going on around me. I just want to make sure what I'm doing is what you guys should be doing when you're in like a real raid. And oh man, the people who are really bad at the game and don't want to learn because they don't know they're bad at the game. Oh, that is the worst! Holy shit, that's bad! Oh, it makes me so angry. This is why I love our community, because anybody who comes to my channel and follows me tends to accept the fact that we can all learn something. I'm still learning every single day. I, in fact, feel like I've got a little bit worse at the game, if not considerably worse than what I used to be. Probably with age or whatever. I don't know, fucking maybe that's an excuse. But I definitely feel that way. But there's a lot of people out there who don't know that they need help, or will not accept that no matter what. You tell them, yo, dude, you're doing something wrong. What? Me, the Lord Almighty of the fucking game? Do you know Blizzard is blessed to have my presence at the keyboard? Oh! And they're the worst people, man, because they make the most atrocious mistakes ever, and then they just fucking go mental. They blame everybody under the sun. So in my 5-mans, I had lots of this going on. I was actually after some gear. There's nothing worse in World of Warcraft where you're after a drop, because it never drops. And if it does drop, you just go, wow, that's my lucky day. Now I need the next item, and that one will never drop. You're never satisfied when you're still looking for some items. And my tank and my warrior needs some items. So it was a little bit frustrating. I did quite a few. I did 5 or 6 5-mans, all equally as bad. That 5-man, I forget the name. I think it's End Time, where you have to collect the fragments, and then the chick spawns in the middle, and then you kill the chick. We had a guy who just could not avoid anything, any packs of mobs. So I literally said, yo, guys, wait here. Let me go and collect everything. He was like, if this guy can do it, and I'm God's gift to World of Warcraft, then I can fucking do it, right? I'm gonna go and do it. So he just could not avoid anything, and he just died like 4 times. It was unbelievable. By the time he'd ran back for the 3rd time, I'd collected them all myself. It was unbelievable. And then he blamed us. He's like, where's the tank? Why is Tunk not tanking these mobs? I'd gone left, he'd gone right, and then he's blaming me for not tanking it. It was just insane. Then we went to looking for raid. Oh, dude. Do you know how many tanks we went through on Ultraxion? How many? 8. 8 fucking tanks. Now, I gave myself a gold star for sticking with that shit. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it. We wiped twice to the dragons, until literally I stopped doing anything on my warrior and just ran around taunting dragons. I just went protection spec. I was like, dude, I cannot handle this anymore. I will tank all the dragons. And I did. And the other tanks were like, why are the dragons blowing the fire all over the floor? The range should be killing those. And I'm like, dude, you need to taunt them down. He's like, no, range killed those. Range killed the dragons. I was like, no, you taunt them, they stop blowing fire. No, I'm gonna stay here. It's safe over here. I'm like, oh, dude, what? And then the next couple of tanks could not handle Ultraxion's Fading Light. It was really bad. And just the rage, man. It's sort of satisfying for me to see the fucking rage that comes from everybody else in the raid when somebody else makes a mistake. It's like, it's as if people are really nervous, and then they see this one dude make an obvious mistake, and they just like leap on him like rabid dogs. They're like, you fucking asshole, you've ruined my life. I wiped in looking for raid. Oh my god. And I just took a seat back. I was chilling. I should fire up the live stream for this, but then it'll probably all go really well. You know, the best though, the moment of the 2 moments of the day before we even get, I've been talking 10 minutes, but whatever. 2 moments of the day. Spine of Deathwing. There must have been a group of friends that came in there, and one of them was the tank. His name began with S. I can't remember it, but I know his real name was Ian. Right? Because he had no idea how Spine of Deathwing worked, but they weren't on vent. They weren't on any form of voice communication. So he didn't know how it worked. He had a general idea that he should tank the amalgamation, right? So the first one spawns, and the other DK. There was 2 DK tanks. The other DK tank who did know what was going on. And this gets really sad in a minute. You're going to cry. He tanks it next to the thing. We kill the first one. And then someone in the raid just goes, okay, guys, just do the same again. No problem. So the next amalgamation spawns. And the other tank picks it up, this Ian. Ian picks up this mob, okay? Ian got the amalgamation, he's kicking ass. He's got aggro on it, all good. I'm wailing away on this thing. I'm doing like 3 times as much DPS as anybody else. Even to the point when, you know, where everybody goes, stop DPS! Oh my god! The amalgamation's at 20% and he's only got 3 bloods. Somebody stop the DPS! Will somebody please think of the amalgamation? Oh god. Well, obviously I know to stop DPS, so I was killing all the bloods, right? I stand on the fucking corruption thing, I'm just killing all the bloods, but my DPS is continuing to fucking rise, yeah? Because everybody else is like, stop DPS, so they immediately stop. They're like smashing the escape key on their keyboard. They're like, whoa, whoa, this dude just said fucking stop DPS. Bang! I am stopping DPS, I'm fucking uninstalling the game. I'm not doing shit, man, because this looking for raid guys just told me what to do. And so I'm standing on the blood, and my DPS is just going... just continuing to go up, and this mage starts going mental at me. He goes mental at me for killing the amalgamation. I'm stood so far away from the amalgamation, it's unbelievable. There's a pile of blood at my feet. I look like a god mode, right? And this guy's like, preach, stop it, god damn it, stop killing the amalgamation. I'm nowhere near the fucking thing, and I went, question mark? And like the question mark, if you've got the say chat on, my question mark must have appeared like over there somewhere. He's like, yeah, you over there, stop killing this amalgamation over here. Stop it, dude, stop killing the amalgamation. Fucking crazy. So he's going mental at me. Anyway, I create this huge pile of blood at the floor, and the other DK pulls the amalgamation over it and gets 9 bloods. Cool. Ian, our lovely DK tank, then just pulls the amalgamation to just the middle of the room and stands there for ages. It's on 20%, it's on 15%, it's on 10%. It's exploding, it's got 9 things, it's going... people are like starting to lose health, and then you realise that he's actually with a group of friends who all know who he is, and they're all spamming in caps. Ian, move it to the fucking plate. Ian, move! Ian, for the love of God. Thing explodes, obviously nowhere near it. And then they're all calling him a fucking idiot, right? They're all the rest of the raid is going insane. They're like, you fucking idiot, I hate this fucking tank. And then it's like, you know, the guys who can't speak English and stuff start spamming like what looks like demon speak to me. So it could be Norwegian or something for all I know, but it just looks like a demon has infested somebody. This is why I picture on the other side of the screen. It's like their eyes turn red and shit, and Diablo's turned up, and they're all like, "Ich fucking cunt tank, fucking jika," or some shit. So it's all going really crazy, and I'm still laughing away. I'm still wailing away on bloods, man. I'm blade storming bloods at the back of the room. This mage is still telling me to leave the amalgamation alone. Whatever, right? So a next one comes, and this guy, the tank, Ian, the tank, ignores all his friends and starts telling people that the other tank taunted, right? He's like, he starts blaming this other tank. You taunted. And the guy's like, yeah, I was trying to bring it over to the plate. And he's like, no, you don't taunt my mobs, dude. I know what I'm doing. I'm Ian the Blood DK. You got that? So, this is going backwards and forwards. The next one is even better. Same fight, same tank, Ian. Ian then sort of gets the idea and goes and collects exactly 8 bloods and then brings it to the plate, right? He gets 8 bloods, backs his ass up right into the plate, and then fucking stands there. He stands there like, I would never move in my whole life. So people start trying to taunt it away from him because the health this thing is dropping like this. And ultimately it comes down to the case of they're going, Ian, you need 1 more blood. Ian, mate, get the blood, get the blood. So people are trying to taunt it off Ian in order to drag it to a fucking blood. No way, dude. Like, Ian's on the case. He's like taunting it back, then he's death gripping it back. He's all over it until it dies with 8 things. Oh, man, it was horrendous. Anyway, I didn't need any DPS gear from Madness of Deathwing, so I left the looking for raid after that. And then I re-queued as a tank because I needed a soul drinker. I didn't need a Girthalak. I have a Girthalak looking for raid version. So I then came back in as a tank. And luckily, the way looking for raid works, if you kill the other bosses, it tries to get you in for the boss you still need, which is cool. So I came straight in at Madness of Deathwing, some group that had obviously wiped. That is the only way I was going to get in. And I'm with a tank called Anger, but spelt funny. And Anger was one of these guys who believes he's awesome and really cool. So the mutated corruption spawns, the big thing. I'm like heroic leaping over there. The second it spawns, I've got full solid aggro on it. And then suddenly I get this whisper in massive caps. Oh my god, noob. I take first. I want to point out that he said this while he was still DPSing the tentacle miles away from where I was. And I was like, well, you never said you're taking it first. I always play it kind of cool first time. I give people like a little bit of slack. And he's like, no, I always take it worst, you fucking noob. Like, really swearing at me. I was like, all right, dude, whatever. Soaks the impale. And then I move away. Now, he must have had a parry streak or something. So I go into arms stance so I don't have any threat generating ability. And his taunt wears off and it comes straight back to me. The rage I wasn't doing anything. I'd even lost my threat modifying abilities. It was crazy. He just must not have hit it or something. And he starts really, instead of tanking it or taunting it back, he's just typing away. He's just typing these fucking crazy words at me. He's like, you fucking noob. You're supposed to let me taunt. I'm like, dude, you did taunt. He's like, no, you fucking idiot. You're out threatening me. I'm like, I'm in arm stance, dude. I'm not doing anything. I'm like, no, you fucking asshole. That was my day. So I had a come down to earth, exactly what you guys deal with on a pretty regular basis. For any of you guys who aren't raiding normal guilds and stuff. Oh, it was atrocious. Anyway, now after that 15-minute tirade, some announcements. On Sunday, I am the guest on a podcast, a gaming World of Warcraft related podcast called Convert to Raid. I have been on this show before, and it was great fun, so they asked me to come back. We had a really great time last time. So on Sunday, I'm not sure exact time, I think it's about 3 p.m. for you Americans, Eastern time. I will be on converttoraid.com. If you go to converttoraid.com, I will be on their live podcast as their special guest, and I will be talking about anything they want to ask me. So it should be quite cool. In gaming news, Colonial Marines has been announced again. It's going to suck balls. Has there been a good Aliens game since the first one? No. There hasn't. All we want is a good Aliens game with the smart gun noise. That is all we want. We want a good smart gun noise in a good, even an average game with a good smart gun noise. We're in. We're done. In other good news though, War Z, the DayZ essentially MMO made by different people, but it's the zombie equivalent of DayZ, but it's a full-on MMO. It's actually in beta right now, and apparently it looks fucking awesome. Check out rockpapershotgun.com for their article on it. It's really pretty cool. Okay, let's go with some questions, then you can start posting your questions here. And I'll take the live questions. Okay, first of all, from yesterday's Daily Preach. Preach is doing a total biscuit on us. No. Quitting WoW and all this kind of stuff. You guys like to blow things out of proportion or what? All I said is if I don't enjoy the game, I'm not going to play anymore. I actually went back, because I wasn't sure exactly what this was, about the total biscuit thing. So I went and checked, I found the video where he said he wasn't playing WoW anymore. I didn't agree with his reasons, but it doesn't really matter. That doesn't really matter. All I said is if WoW is definitely going to be aiming at an age 15, age 13 to 15 audience, I ain't 13 to 15. It's not a game for me. That's it. Be all and end all. Look, what else can I say? If that's the question. If the game is aimed at that sort of age group, I ain't in that age group. I'm really not. At the moment, it's aimed up to like 30s. I'm still below there, luckily. Ching. But other than that, no. Inbox question. Oh, do you want the daily comment? Oh, you know what? I'm such a scrub. I haven't even added it. Ooh. Bear with me. This one was awesome. Where did I put it? Give me a sec. Good preparation, Preach, you scrub. Can I make it big enough for you guys to read? There you go. LOL. Some next row designs. This is 1 day ago. Now the best bit is what video this is on. LOL Preach, you're good at speaking, but your DK is shit. No offense, but I got the latest full heroic and you're still in the last tier. L. Yeah? Your DK, shit. Mine is in the latest heroics. Mine is doing end time heroic. Yeah? Yeah? You're not. Do you want to know what video this is on? Do you want to know where I got this from? Firestar knows because Firestar replied to it. Firestar in the chat. Yeah, his DK. End time heroic. This video, this comment was posted 1 day ago. The video this is referring to is my 4.2 4.2 DK video. Patch 4.2. It was posted over a year ago. Over a year ago. Over a fucking year ago in patch 4.2. What? Well, not over a year ago. Holy shit. You know what? I've just realised it's our 1 year anniversary in like 20 days. Would you fucking believe it? What a realised game changer. Are we going to be in Germany during the 1 year anniversary? Sorry, mind melt. I kind of need to set something up for that, don't I? But yeah, this is just What are you doing? Why are you looking at a 4.2 video anyway? What? What the fuck? But it's just that it was the smugness of you're doing Halls of Origination. I am doing End Time Heroic. What do you think about that? Preach. That's funny, man. You like the oh, but the thing is though, I actually had to load the video to see the comment because somebody else had posted back already saying, dude, this video was posted like a year ago. How did you guys watch those videos? Oh man, that shit is so embarrassing. It really is. Like, those are the worst videos ever. The commentary is like me going, so yeah, oh dude, my first videos are so bad. Like, they're really awful. They're truly bad. Okay, let's get on with this question. This is about raid comp. This came from Honoretos. Hi Mike. Yo dude. My raid team has run into a loot problem concerning the amount of people rolling on the same tokens in Mists of Pandaria. Thus, I decided it would be best for me to switch class, else we would have 2 paladin tanks. That's never cool. Question is, which of these classes is looking to have a slight lead over boss mechanics than the other? Brofist from Scotland that did not contain a Brofist. This makes me sad. And your question was around Blood DKs or Guardian Druids. I kind of want to say Guardian Druids, but not in all fights. The good thing about the tanks is they're all kind of unique in their own special way. So saying that one is better than the other, especially when you're trying to move away from the Paladin, is not an easy question, man. That is not easy, because Paladins in general are the best. What I wanted to point out here is I have been in your situation and it has never worked out well for me. I have re-rolled on several occasions and every time regretted it. But at the time, I felt like I was the guy. I'm the dude who will step up and re-roll for the good of the guild. And guess what? It always fucking sucks. Especially if you enjoy the class you're leaving behind. Mainly my warrior. On a lot of occasions, I have left behind my warrior. I've said, okay, the guild at TBC, the very launch, I capped my warrior very quickly, but we had 2 prot warrior tanks. And that wasn't beneficial for the guild. So me being driven to kill raid bosses and being of the mentality that I'll do whatever it takes to make sure the bosses go down, that's all very well and good for progression. That's all very well and good. And then the boss dies and you're having to farm it, and then you realise you're playing a class you don't actually enjoy that much. That's when it really starts to suck. Before you make this decision, think long and hard about actually doing it. Ultimately, it is not your problem about people rolling for tokens, and tokens are guaranteed drops. So ultimately, you're not going to be that far behind getting them. You're really not. I would not do it if you enjoy the prop paladin. So I'm going to answer this in 2 different ways. If you enjoy your prop paladin a lot, don't do it. Stay as you are. Say, hey, don't worry about it. Tokens are guaranteed drops. They're not random drops besides the type of token, but a token will drop every single kill. So it's not that bad. It's really not. Sometimes, yes, you can get into massively unlucky streaks of getting Vanquisher every week, but that can happen to any guild, and it can happen even if you had 8 Paladins, you could still get Vanquisher every week. It doesn't matter. It really does not. It can also work the other way, of course. You can have a big streak of Conqueror, and suddenly you'll have Prot, Ret, and Holy without even asking for it. That can happen. So in terms of tokens, I wouldn't worry about it. I assume, considering your other option is a Blood DK, you're not actually too bothered about being a plate class. You're not bothered about the off pieces, which tend to actually be the harder ones to get. Everybody tends to go with 4 pieces plus 1 off piece. That tends to be the best setup. Get your 4-piece bonus and 1 really strong off piece. And considering you want to play another plate class, that can't really be an issue either. First thing is, do you want to do it? Because if you enjoy your prop paladin, don't do it. Tokens will drop. They will come. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's really not worth re-rolling away from a class you enjoy for the sake of tokens. It's not. Let's say you're not that happy with your prop paladin and you do want to change. I would always... There's no advantage either way between the Guardian Druid and the Blood DK right now. Really. There's a couple of fights where Guardian Druids fall behind over Blood DKs. One particular is the Stone Guard, especially the Stone Guard Heroic in Mists of Pandaria, because there's huge amounts of bleeds and stuff where absorbs become more and more powerful. And in those cases, and such things as stagger damage like the monks do, they stagger all types of damage. They become much more powerful. In fact, our Feral Druid was taking about twice the amount of damage of the monks and DKs. And the paladins taking about twice the amounts of damage. However, monks, druids just have a lot more utility, especially if you enjoy gearing up all your various specs. I've linked the screenshot on several occasions of what my druid looked like in TBC. He had a full set of tank gear, full set of feral cat gear, full set of moonkin gear, and a full set of resto gear, all fully gemmed and enchanted. And I would go on progression in Ulduar. I played every single spec. Mimiron and Yogg-Saron, I was moonkin. Razor Scale and the Iron Dude, I was a feral cat, and XT Deconstructor, I was a cat. For the first couple, the bosses after that, I was a bear, and on Freya 3, I was a tree. I was a druid, but I loved doing that. That was my niche. I was filling every single role to make sure the boss died. That's all I cared about. But as soon as that progression finished, oh man, did I want to play my warrior again. And most of the time I ended up back to my warrior. Just as this happened now, they said, Method said, can you play a warlock? I was like, yeah, I can play a warlock. I don't particularly enjoy it, but that's what you guys need, no problem. And then you start farming for a couple of weeks and you're like, dude, I want to play my warrior so badly right now. And today I get to play my warrior in a raid, and in fact in about 20 minutes, so I'm going to cut this short shortly. Between a Blood DK and a Guardian Druid, you can't really go wrong. What I would say is DKs tend to be limited to 2 specs. If you want to play the other specs, then Druid's the obvious choice, because you've got choice of a healer, a range class, and a melee class. But DKs are pretty strong at the moment. But let's jump to... let me leave that question there. There's no really pro or con either way. Go with whichever one feels best. Never, ever choose a class based on its attributes right now, because they will get changed. And this brings me on to today's Blizzard news. Let's talk about that before I take the live questions. Oh, let me have a little drink. My voice. Okay, now I'm energized, baby. Woo! Damage is about to get smashed in the face, okay? Anybody who's doing crazy damage right now is going to get really nerfed. Don't panic! You're being balanced, not nerfed. It is a nerf, but you're being balanced. There's a huge difference between being nerfed and being balanced. People disagree with that on the WoW forums. That's why we don't go on the WoW forums. But it seems they actually... Remember yesterday I was QQing that warriors are doing about 50k DPS? That seems to be where they actually want people to be. I said hunters, arcane mages are doing about 70 to 80k single target DPS. That apparently is too much, because they specifically mention hunters are doing too much damage. So it actually looks like they're going to scale us all back in terms of DPS. That's fine. That's no problem at all. As long as we know where we stand and we're not just dwindling 30k DPS below everybody else. That's tragically bad. That is where the warriors were sitting, around about 20 to 30k DPS below other classes. So don't panic if you're on the beta realms or anything. You're going to get your DPS massively slashed if you're far too high. That's okay. I'm happy as long as we're all sitting around the same, which we were in 10-man. We were pretty close. 25-man seems to have skewed that massively. You're going to get nerfed. The other thing that's been announced is looking for raid is going to be staggered. Hold on a minute while I be really, really smug. Oh, let me fart. Sniff it in. Oh, smells like victory. I called this, yesterday? I fucking called this shit. Looking for raid is going to be staggered. Ayo! Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy and what does he do? Well, he does a daily preach every single fucking day. Besides weekends. Yeah! Looking for raid is going to be staggered, but you can access it by continuously just doing looking for raid, which I think is kind of worse. Let me give you an example. You'll do 5-man heroics, then you'll go into looking for raid, then you'll get some items from looking for raid, and then you'll be able to do the next tier of looking for raid tier 2. That kind of sucks when its random drops are random. You can have one guy who does his 5-man heroics, goes into looking for raid, gets really lucky and does tier 2 looking for raid within an hour, and you have one guy who did his 5-man heroics, struggled with drops, basically had to buy all his gear, which meant he had to do multiple 5-mans to fill up all the items. Then he did looking for raid and just nothing dropped for the next 3 weeks and he couldn't get into tier 2. keep an eye on that one, because some people are going to get really pissed off if that is the way it goes. That is going to be seriously... That is going to be rage-worthy, man. That is going to be crazy rage-worthy. If it's impossible... If it's possible that is going to go down, we'll see. In other news, before I go on to the questions, so start posting your questions now. There is going to be a large party being thrown by Athene in Germany at Gamescom. I've been invited. They've also invited Ghost. And Untrial and Emma. Do I let Ghost near Athene? That's the question. But hopefully keep an eye on our Facebook. If you're not on Preach Gaming Facebook, I'd tag it because we're going to be uploading pictures and shit to there. So you can see that while we're in Germany. Because we're in Germany after the next web show. This Saturday, of course, is Workshop, 8 PM GMT. So let's take your question. Yeah, them games. We're going to be playing those games. Any questions for me tonight? How was the smell? Smelled like victory, baby. I play mostly melee classes, and I've been interested in playing a ranged caster class. For some reason, every caster class I try, my DPS is horrendous compared to an equally geared melee. What's my problem? That is a question for the workshop. I don't know what your problem is. It won't be an armory issue. I assume if you follow one of my guides, then your gemming will be fine, your talents will be fine, and that kind of stuff. That's generally the case. I need to see what you're doing wrong. One of the biggest issues that's easy to compare to from melee to caster is casters have much more reliance in general than on the global cooldown. And movement really, really affects casters because too many casters in the mid-level area, when they have to move, stop doing anything. They just move and then they might resume their casting. You can't do that as a caster who wants to do decent DPS. Every single global cooldown matters. Because there's an old saying by Kungan. Remember Kungan used to run the guild in Nihilum, and it was one of the best things I ever thought came out of him. He said a lot of weird things sometimes, but what he did say, what he came out with, was take two casters and put them in the same room, and the better player will always just have more casts. That's the way you tell who's a better player. A better player will just have more spells cast. Simple as. Of the appropriate spells, obviously. But it's the easiest way to do it because that shows that a player who's capable of not only predicting where he should be stood, but also capable of dealing with movement. Casters are very, very... A make or break of a caster is not just managing your cooldowns and stuff like that. It's what you do when you need to do something different and move around and stuff. Casters who are new to the class can suffer a lot when they need to move. Preach, why is Frost DK being killed? It's so far behind Unholy in the PTR at the minute. I actually think Unholy's too strong. Like I just mentioned there, some classes are going to get nerfed. Unholy is one of them. Frost is doing around 60k, 55 to 60k DPS. I think I saw what Wood doing on the PTR. That seems about right. So I think it's not a case that Unholy's killing Frost. It's Unholy's too powerful. It's going to get smashed back. Am I partnered with Twitch? Yes, I am. I just don't run commercials because, frankly, I hate commercials, and you get a commercial when you join my channel anyway. How many targets should Frosty K stop AoE and return to single target? You know what? That question is basically answered with when there's more than one. As much as I hate Master Frost, I don't recommend you go for Master Frost. If you've got two mobs, Howling Blast will be more powerful. It's just as simple as that. But don't re-gem and shit for that. That's the best way I can answer that question. If you still got two mobs up, you should still be Howling Blasting over Obliterating. You're going to get more damage out of it. What healers are currently strongest in that area? It doesn't matter! The question was, what healers are currently stronger in Mr. Pandaria? It doesn't matter. You're going to be balanced. You are going to be balanced. It doesn't matter. I will tell you that Resto Shamans are laughably bad at the moment, but when aren't they at the beginning of an expansion? Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention before I do the last question. There's going to be a poll going up on preachgaming.com, probably on Saturday, I want to say. It's going to be the awards ceremony for Cataclysm. We're going to do an awards ceremony for the most improved classes and specs. So I'm going to put what I want is the community's input on this. Now, I'm not going to do a poll with 31 specs on it. I'm not going to do that. What I want you to do is just submit your ideas for and why, because there needs to be a good reason. So you could say Arms Warrior because they smash faces at endgame. Something like that. But it has to be the journey. I'm interested in the journey. We're very focused on the journey this month. Okay, last question. Do any of your Method Guildies stream raids? Lots and lots of them. They love it. I personally don't. I don't really enjoy streaming my raids because I focus on my raids. Those of you, when I have streamed it, the guys have always said, yeah, you just watch, you just do what you do. That's fine. But they stream all the time. Flare streams all the time, and I think Super SDW isn't playing at the moment. At least 4 or 5 per raid. Okay. Right, guys, I'm going to call it there for tonight. Right, tomorrow is going to be an extended Daily Preach because it's Friday, and I love to take it easy on a Friday, so I'm going to sit back and chill with you guys. And I'm actually going to take your questions, but then I'm going to have a final question posed by me, which is one of the questions that I think about a lot and isn't that easy to answer. That's what I want to do. There's a video going up on the YouTube channel in roughly 20 minutes. It's the part 3 of The Pandas Are Coming, so I recommend you check that out if you're preparing for Mists of Pandaria. It's going to tell you all the little stuff, little tricks and tips to make your life easier while leveling. So that video's coming up in about 20-25 minutes, depending on how long YouTube takes to process it. So have a great day. Remember, send your brofist in. Can I just point out, I'm loving this one. This is fucking awesome. And there's so much hammer smash face going on right there. Like, fuck yeah, buddy. Psh, psh, psh. Yeah. If you want to send your brofist in for the Friday Preach, send them today, and I will try and get them up there by tomorrow. Have a great evening, guys. I hope you have a great evening. I'm going to do some raiding of my warrior in Dragon Soul Heroic for the first time, so give him an armory later and see if I got lucky. See you later, ballers.